A former president of the United States and the Duchess of Sussex both share the same birthday, August the 4th, which is also the Queen Mother's birthday. Yes, the late Queen Mother's, her birthday was August the 4th. So, while nobody remembers the Queen Mother, there's no mention of her birthday anywhere that I can find. Because if they mention it, guess what? They have to acknowledge that it's the same as it's the same as the Duchess of Sussex. I've noticed that was absent all week. No mention of the fact that the Duchess of Sussex and the Queen Mother has the same birthday. But then again, nobody really mentions the Queen Mother anyway. So it's almost as though she never existed. But I'm sure I'm exaggerating when I say that. But then there's the former president, the 44th president, Barack Obama, former leader of the free world. Both of them share the same birthday. So there was this big hope that there were going to be caravans of cars and buses and all kind of big flashy stuff at the Montecito estate. Well, none of that happened. Whereas you will find that the president of the United States, former president, decided to have a big bash for his 60th birthday party to celebrate his life achievements. And so, yes, of course, even though we are in the midst of a global pandemic, he decided, well, I'm going to celebrate and we're going to have a good time and we're going to be as careful and safe as possible. I mean, after all, we're all rich and successful, hardworking Americans. So, yes, we can afford to do that. Okay, sure. But that's not just throwing money around. That's just using good sense. And it's going to put a lot of people to work in the events industry that have been out of work for months and months. So yes, they are putting people to work and they're celebrating his birthday all at the same time. So, okay, having gotten that out the way, this Aunt McPartlin, his wedding happens to be this same weekend. And they are making a big fuss about that wedding. But the big difference is there's nothing but criticism for the Obamas having people at their home during a pandemic, whereas this Aunt McPartlin, there's no mention of that. It's just praise and accolades for someone who has overcome alcoholism to put his life back together. And we should celebrate that. But this is when it turns into something kind of racist. You're criticizing a black man who happens to have been the president of the United States, and you seem to be putting more praise and importance on this Aunt McPartlin guy who I don't even know what he's famous for, but I'm sure he's a big deal about something. But you're putting all this praise on him for his event because he's British. He's white. Do you see what the difference is? So it's not obvious that this is something racist about this, but if that's not the case, and I'll be open-minded and say if that's not the case, then why are you making a big deal about Obama's birthday and you're saying nothing about this wedding, which can easily turn into a super spreader event? And I guarantee you that if you had to compare resources, the people at the Obama's event have the resources to make that a lot safer than this wedding will ever be. I'm just going to say it. I'm pretty sure that's the case. That they are taking every precaution necessary to keep the people at this wedding free from this horrific pandemic that we're in. Whereas the wedding, I'm going to guess that it's going to be not so safe. But either way, God bless the both of them for celebrating big moments in their lives, whether it's celebrating the 60th birthday of the president, of a former president, that is, of the United States, or this Aunt McPartlin guy who has overcome alcoholism and has put his life back together. We should celebrate both, but we shouldn't celebrate one and pick apart the other. But this is exactly what's happening. And by the way, from the photos that I see from this wedding, not a mask in sight, not a single mask in sight for this posh wedding that they're having. Not a single mask. I'm just saying. So Thomas Markle is at it again. He claims that he sent flowers for the Duchess of Sussex's birthday. And I'm sure he did. And I'm pretty sure that TMZ has the receipts to prove that he sent flowers. All he had to do was not say I didn't do something that he probably didn't do, that TMZ has done for him. Send the flowers and just wait for the fallout. I tell you, I would not accept anything from him, because chances are that there's some type of recording device or microphone or something attached to it, or who knows what else it could be. But nothing will convince me that he actually took it upon himself to send flowers. And of course, the usual whining that he wants to make sure that those kids can have more family around them. What about the rest of the family? Don't you want to be around them? Or is it that they don't want to be around you? They don't want to be around you, and they don't want to be around your other daughter. They don't want anybody named Thomas or named Samantha. They probably have restraining orders, allegedly, I'm guessing. They probably have some type of restraining orders against them, I'm sure. If not official legal restraining orders, then it's just implied. Please stay away from us. I mean, it's really bad, but I bet you they don't even trust each other. Father and daughter, I bet you they don't even trust each other. Samantha doesn't trust her dad, and he doesn't trust her. And together, they're just like a couple of old carny hustlers or something. They just don't trust each other, and they're not even welcome to see the rest of their family. If there was anyone who went to Mexico to visit Thomas Markle, don't you know we would see photos of it? His only family, and this is such a shame, but his only family is the Daily Mail. Thomas Markle was literally photographed a couple times, I think, with Carolyn Graham. In 2018, Carolyn Graham went to California to befriend Thomas Markle. That's how they became close to each other. The Daily Mail was so glad that Prince Harry was finally finding his happiness in life that they literally moved into his house. They took possession of a handwritten letter from the Duchess of Sussex, something which eventually is going to come back to bite them in the behind. But the Daily Mail did that. And so the Daily Mail has been this antagonistic, almost predatory, not even almost, they're predators. They are literally stalkers and predators. So when you consider that, and you say to yourself, well, I hope some investigative journalists like Ronan Farrow will take up this cause. We can't count on that. We have to do it the way we've been doing it, and that's with the Sussex Squad. Those are the team of investigators that they have as the Sussex Squad. Occasionally, you'll have someone, who is probably another YouTuber or vlogger or whatever that takes up the case, but we definitely need someone from one of the major networks. We need someone to really kind of blow the lid on this thing as though it was the Watergate or something. It does need someone with some major status and stature to take it on. Now, we got a little glimpse of that with CBS once the Oprah interview came out, but then it just kind of died down. This is the same CBS that featured an interview, Johnny Diamond promoting the Robert Lacey book, which is from one of the Rupert Murdoch-owned publishing companies, HarperCollins. So we don't really have anybody to depend on. So as long as I can do what I'm doing for as long as I can do it, I intend to at least try to take up the fight as much as I can on my end. But we need more voices. And so when you see me celebrating other YouTubers, of course I'm doing that. But just remember, we all have a role to play. So whether you're commenting every day, whether you're making donations or whether you start your own YouTube channel or podcast or whatever. Everybody has a role to play, and we all need to continue. It's just absolutely outrageous, this contrast between the headlines for President Obama's celebration, his birthday celebration, in contrast to that, to this Aunt McPartland thing. It's just amazing. And then, if I can further go on, which of course I will. You know me, I just when you think I have wrapped it up, I got a whole lot more to say, so get comfortable. The thing is, you really don't have to dig so deep. You don't have to dig so deep because these people are hiding their misdeeds in plain sight. Like, for instance, if you were a journalist and you worked for Condé Nast for 25 years, if you were a journalist that worked for Condé Nast and you were lured away from British Vogue so that you could write for the Daily Mail's fashion edition, only for Daily Mail to turn around and just cancel that. There's no budget for you to talk about fashion. Well, that's exactly what happened to Alexandra Shulman. She was a Vogue fashion editor, but from what I hear, she was like a fish out of water. She didn't really fit in at Vogue. But I'll give credit where credit is due. She did stay there for quite some time. It says here, as Shulman took on the role as editor-in-chief at Vogue in 1992, some speculated that she was not experienced enough for that role. Furthermore, others commented on her personal appearance. That's bad, isn't it? Some people commented on her personal appearance. Did not conform with the previous Vogue editor. As in the New York Times noted, the British press has made much of the fact that when it comes to personal wardrobe, Miss Shulman could learn a thing or two from Miss Tilberis, Miss Tilberis's trademark Chanel, and that she could also become better acquainted with a hairbrush. How do you work for a fashion magazine and she could become better acquainted with a hairbrush? That's the part that just destroys me. And brush your hair, girl. It's been noted that it is still remarked upon as she doesn't look like a editor of Vogue. Duh. She doesn't look like an editor of Vogue. She doesn't even look like she should do Dog and Pony. I mean, editor of Vogue? She would be out of place if she tried to sign up for Country Living. I mean, there's just really no place in the editorial world for someone who looks like better... that looks like they work for Better Alleys and Bag Ladies. She really does look like the cover girl for Better Alleys and Bag Ladies. And of course, that is a slight upon the Bag Ladies to compare this person to her, but there you have it. It wouldn't be me if I didn't do it, right? So you're probably thinking, well, why am I even talking about this? Well, this is the person who, well, let me just tell you a little bit about her background. She was a trustee of the National Portrait Gallery. I wonder if she had anything to do with that selection of the artists for that portrait of Kate Middleton, her official portrait at the National Portrait Gallery. Have you seen it? Oh, it's a scandal. And then, of course, she studied at the University of Sussex. Well, I guess maybe that's where her obsession with all things Sussex began. And then, of course, she's worked for the Daily Mail, and she still does, as a matter of fact. She's worked at Vogue, right? Editor-in-chief, The Telegraph, Tatler. And then, of course, she has some siblings, one of which is an artist. She has a brother that's an artist. And then she has a sister that married the 5th Marquis of Normanby, whatever it is. Normanby. First time I've ever heard of this place. And she grew up in Belgravia. So she's used to everything pretty posh, is what I'm trying to say. So isn't it like a fall from grace when you're the one that is recruited to critique the Duchess of Sussex's office? That's what you're writing about? You're doing a critique, a scathing critique on the Duchess of Sussex's office. You're not having tea with the Queen. By the way, she is an OBE. Yeah, she has an OBE. She's got all kind of honors and merits that goes to a very posh person that lives in the world that she comes from, where you just kind of show up and you don't have to do much. That's she may as well be a member of the royal family. So she says of Meghan's office, she says, best bit of Meghan Markle's dull palace is the chicken coop. Alexandra Shulman says, room where the Duchess's birthday video was filmed exemplifies the chasm between money and taste. Have you seen how she lives? Now, they already have told you at Vogue magazine that people thought she was the cleaning lady. I mean, literally, she wouldn't brush her hair. She didn't take care of her hair. Her hair was just like, here it is. And then she dressed like she was, I guess, on her way to her job as the meter maid. And she's the editor-in-chief of Vogue. I mean, like they say, you either have good taste or you don't. You can buy fashion, but you can't buy good taste. She worked in fashion and didn't have good taste. She literally was called out by other journalists for not looking the part. But she's supposed to critique other people. I tell you, that there's nepotism there somewhere, and I just don't know where it is. But she was not even qualified for that job. But she had the right connections. That's how she got there, allegedly. But in order to try to tear her down, instead of like speaking about the Queen sitting in front of a golden piano, she decides that she would try to pick apart this very neutrally toned room in this it's a Tuscan mansion. This is what Tuscany looks like. That's the exact style. If you go outside of that, then it's really a total contrast. By the way, I wonder if Alexandra has seen the garden. I mean, this is a beautiful estate. But from the way the story reads, there's this massive house, and she has critiqued the entire house because she's seen the corner of one room with this massive fireplace. I mean, just how ridiculous. Who put you up to this? Who told you to go and write about it, and this is the best that you can do? This is why I say she probably was never qualified for the other job she had. She obviously, growing up in Belgravia, she knew people. And this is why it's so contradictory for so many other reasons, of course. But on the one hand, you want to say that Harry is not capable and that Meghan is leading him by the nose. But then on the other hand, you want to say that Meghan married Harry so she could elevate her status. I believe that, as they say, you could have the pick of any woman you want. Well, Meghan literally could have had married a lot of people in this world, and she decided to, hold out and wait for love to show up, and that's what she did. And some of these old, bitter hags that write for the Daily Mail, they just can't take it that this woman of color has been so well educated and so successful, and in spite of all of the inside information that they have, despite all of the comeuppance that they have gotten for simply by an accident of birth, that they have been outwitted by the Duchess of Sussex. Try as they may to try to get information leaked from Montecito, nothing is working. And I'm sure they're spending a fortune trying to do that. So since they don't have anything concrete to go on, since she has nothing, that is the Sussex, Duchess of Sussex, has nothing in her past that they can hang their hat on, they have just decided, well, since we can't make a case out of anything else but her big sloppy father, why don't we just try to assassinate her character? And so they've been trying and trying and trying, and they thought they very well had succeeded, but it just didn't work because she came home. She came home to a place where we are more into meritocracy than we are hypocrisy and nepotism. Most of the homes and this is where it's really a cultural divide. If you know anything about California, especially Southern California, the very Italian Renaissance, the very Tuscan style is highly favored architecture in those areas. You don't find a lot of Tudor style homes there. You don't find a Jacobean mansion there. You're not going to find so many homes right out of the Georgian era in the middle of Los Angeles. You're just not going to find that there. This is the style of home. That is the palette. And it takes a very ignorant person to want to challenge the style of this room, which is exquisite, as well as the rest of the house. And she knows that. But she's playing on people's ignorance to try to make people believe that the Duchess of Sussex has no taste. How many times are people going to try to pull that? The way that the Duchess of Sussex made the exit from that royal duty is one for the record books. It was a tour de force of fashion on the way out of there. She taught everybody in that snobby family how to dress and how to conduct themselves publicly. She smiled with grace, honor, and dignity through the whole thing, and they just couldn't take it. They wanted to see this slobbering, broken person being led to a train station while some old steam locomotive goes chucking away. This girl has sat home too many days alone, not really experiencing life. This former editor of Vogue magazine, she must have been a real disappointment to Condé Nast. I don't know how she got that position, but oh well. The good thing is that now she's writing about the corner of someone's office in the Daily Mail. That's what she's doing for a living, is she's critiquing the corner of probably a very massive room in even a greater, larger, more massive size house in California, where your words have absolutely no relevance, Alexandra. Nothing. You got nothing. The most daring thing that she's ever done was to buy this hideous, as a matter of fact, it's faded. She has this faded sofa in this over-cluttered room, which is, I guess she takes offense to the fact that the Duchess of Sussex is not tripping over stuff everywhere she turned. But I had to dig and I had to look to see exactly how is she living that she's critiquing the Duchess of Sussex. And you ought to see it. I mean, I'll of course include the photo, but her living room is a hodgepodge of hand-me-downs and knickknacks, which can be very elegant. Don't get me wrong. I do shop at the thrift store, but this is the former editor of Vogue magazine, and she it looks like she went to her parents' garage for her first apartment. Threadbare, old, and faded. And I haven't even gotten to the furniture yet. And of course, the subject in the photo, which is Alexandra herself, is still in need of a hairbrush. She's in dire need of a makeover. How do you work for a fashion magazine and you look so frumpy? Is that why they got rid of her? Oh. But again, the only reason why I'm saying this is because she had decided to go after the Duchess of Sussex. And so then at a certain age, she decided that she would try to build her self-esteem and drum up sympathy by taking a picture in her knickers in her bedroom. And I have to tell you, I'm not even there for her picture. I just wanted to see the bedroom. When I say disappointment, when I say much to do about nothing, it seems like it ought to be the guest room over a garage, but instead this is this very posh, elegant critic's room, her bedroom, and it looks just like her. So nothing works for her, and you can tell that some of the clothes that she had is some very fine pieces of clothing. But the problem is, once she puts it on, everything goes south. And still no hairbrush. So, this is why I'm telling you all to do this. Next time you have a feeling about someone, don't just yell at your electronic device. Don't start hyperventilating. Just do some research, because believe me, it's a lot there. These are some very flawed human beings that have all these critiques about people. Very flawed human beings, like Carolyn Graham, who seems to dress at the same place that Mrs. Roper shops, and she's standing in front of a Confederate flag and couldn't be more proud of it, because this is a real daughter of Dixie. She is a real daughter of Dixie, celebrating the Confederate flag. This is someone every day who probably, I can't say I know it for sure, but probably wakes up thinking, if just the South had won. And this says a lot about Thomas Markle. This says so much about Thomas Markle. So while there's so many people who feel like she done him wrong, just think of the people that he's been hanging out with. He has decided to choose the Daily Mail's journalists over his own daughter. And so when he says, I sent flowers and I got no response, that's because hell hasn't frozen over yet. But when it does, then maybe, just maybe. Anyway, it is Sussex Sunday, and for sure I'll see you guys in the live chat. And also Ivy Barrow for the Sussex Squad UK podcast, the Sussex Squad UK podcast, or Sussex Squad podcast UK. Okay, I probably said it backwards. But anyway, she's going to upload a video today. So if you haven't subscribed to her, please make sure you do. I will be over there waiting for her podcast today. Or yeah, it's Sunday, so it'll be out Sunday. So let's look forward to that. So that's 2, and hopefully there'll be more coming today. So I tell you, more and more we're getting this covered, aren't we? But anyway, that's it for now. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy Tina and Michelle. I will definitely be there. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like, share. And if you want to donate, there's the Cash App, the PayPal, and of course the Patreon. I just lost a couple of Patreons. I'm not sure why, but yeah, there's also the Patreon. I had up to 13, now I got 8. I don't know what happened. Oh well. Somehow I'm not surprised, but I don't care. I'll still be here.